All right, good Thursday morning, everyone. First Alert Meteorologist Eric Burke alongside meteorologist Chelsea Aaron. Happy Thursday. It has been a fantastic week of weather. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all just perfect March days. Those are the days that we like. That's the good March stuff. We've got the other side of March coming as we go into Saturday. Obviously, Saturday still a 48 First Alert weather day. We've got a lot of information to get to regarding that. But we are seeing a little bit of activity already on the radar here this morning. Some of you might have heard some distant thunder if you were out there in maybe Coleman County earlier. We had a couple storms go out to the radar right now. No lightning strikes, just a little bit of light rainfall kind of tracking from the southwest off to the north and east. So a couple sprinkles possible through the day. I think the later we go into the afternoon and evening, still a chance of seeing some isolated to widely scattered storms. A couple storms potentially on the stronger side, not necessarily severe, more pulse type storms where you get the quick gusty winds, maybe some small hail. There was a storm earlier in Marion County this morning, had a lot of lightning associated with it, and also some hail reports coming out of Marion County, but that actually fizzled very quickly the farther east it went. Just looking right now, pushing northeast of you in Florence and the Quad Cities there, some light rainfall also into parts of Lawrence County right now, toward Hatton to Moulton, down into south central Lawrence County, some very light showers. Coleman County, couple sprinkles for you, heading toward the Bremen area, right along Alabama 69 there, and then also watching these storms just off to the west out into Amory, Mississippi, and you've got Smithville there, and actually showing that weakening trend as well the farther east they move.
Yeah, Eric, you talked a lot about these being pulse storms. Basically, they pulse up and then they pulse down. You can see this with this storm moving eastward through Amory and portions of eastern Mississippi. These will stay below severe criteria for the most part, but we still can't rule out some brief gusty winds. Also, small pea-sized hail, heavy rainfall, and occasional lightning through the afternoon. We don't have a lot of wind shear to work with today, but we do have some instability that will be creeping in through the afternoon. Note our high temperature will likely stay upper 60s, a lower 70s, but if we do get into that middle 70 range, storms could become a bit stronger. Again, overall impacts will stay low as we have throughout the rest of your Thursday. Bigger impacts definitely arriving for the weekend, and the Storm Prediction Center is increasing that severe threat, so it is very likely that we could see a significant outbreak as we head into Saturday, Eric.
Yeah, just a quick check of some current temperatures across the area. Right now, we were very warm this morning. A couple of you dipped into the 40s briefly, but we've got 50s and now mid to upper 60s just about everywhere. Another unseasonably warm day. Average high temperature is 65. And if you've stepped outside at all today, you kind of notice that it just feels a touch more humid. A lot of that has to do with the direction of the wind. The air's been incredibly dry. Maybe you've got some chapped lips or your skin is, kind of dry and itchy. That just has to do with that dew point, but it's starting to creep up. So we've got enough moisture for those pulse type storms that Chelsea was referencing just a minute ago. Again, probably better coverage with that as we go into the afternoon. And your wind right now, south-southwesterly, about 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. So kind of another relatively breezy day expected across the area. And we're going to go to your hour-by-hour forecast now, show you what kind of storms we're expecting for the rest of the morning into the afternoon. So here is noon. Be sure to tune into our noon newscast. Chelsea Aaron and Gina Benitez with you. And the coverage of this on Future Radar on the model has really just backed off. This is going to be probably spotty at best. Some of you will go through the entire day today, not seeing any rainfall whatsoever, not hearing any thunder. We do have that lunar eclipse this evening, and this is not what you want to see as far as the timing of that. A lot of cloud cover coming in, so maybe if you see some breaks in the clouds, you could get a look at that. I think the peak of it's around 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, Friday. I know many of you are probably sleeping at that time. And then we just skip forward to what we're expecting for your Friday. This is going to be a very warm but also windy end to the week on Friday. Temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 70s. But if you look at the wind, it's out of the south and southeast. And what you see on the graphic there is the sustained wind, probably 15 to 25 miles per hour. Some wind gusts, just general gradient wind gusts, could be about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So if you can, take a look in your front and backyard and secure any of those loose outdoor items.
Yeah, Eric, Friday, he was talking about the gradient wind gusts. These are basically going to be non-thunderstorm related wind conditions that will be ranging anywhere from 30-40 miles per hour. Friday, all things considered, though, is going to be the calm before the storm. Friday is a good day, if you haven't already, to start making your preparations, your plans as we head into the weekend. We are tracking potentially long track tornadoes that could be strong across the area, likely throughout much of the day on Saturday. And it is becoming more concerning that we're going to see round after round, and we're going to go through our latest timeline as well to describe that to you, because many of you wondering, hey, are you going to have any breaks or windows throughout the day? You know, maybe in the morning to get some things done. We just don't recommend that at that time because we don't have high confidence. Granted, it's not going to be storming every hour throughout the day on Saturday, but we don't have high confidence to tell you when we could see a break between severe thunderstorms. So our latest severe outlook. The Storm Prediction Center has now placed areas mainly to our south and central Alabama. This will cover portions of Birmingham down into Tuscaloosa on Saturday, and a moderate risk. That's going to be a level 4 out of 5 risk, and this is a very rare day 3 outlook. What does this mean for you at home? Well, severe weather is going to be likely at this point. We can't tell you if we're going to see EF4 or EF5 tornadoes, and we don't also tell you these things to scare you, but it's our job as meteorologists to keep you well informed and prepared in advance of these severe storms, and that's what we're trying to do. So you need to make sure you have a shelter or safety plan in place where you're going to go. If a tornado were to strike in your home, you want to be in the lowest, most interior part of your residence, Eric.
Yeah, so this is the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. This is their outlook. This is for Friday. And notice that moderate risk, that 4 out of 5, all the way up into Missouri, a good portion of Illinois, a sliver of far southeastern Iowa too. And it's a little early in the season for them that far north to see a pretty significant severe weather threat. And this is where the threat is going to start to develop as we go through Friday evening, overnight into Saturday morning. Now here is your actual Saturday outlook. Almost all the Tennessee Valley right now under that 3 out of 5 enhanced risk, but that moderate risk is off to our south and to our west, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi. This includes Tuscaloosa, Birmingham metro area. This is going to be a very active day of weather on Saturday, a day across the southeast where weather is going to be significant. It's going to be the big story. Chelsea making a good point. Go over that severe weather plan at home. If you have any plans or out and about, make sure you have ways to receive those warnings. NOAA weather radio, great to have with you at your home. Even just a regular radio, as we have several radio partners across the Tennessee Valley that would stream our coverage if need be. And also just check out your safe space. Make sure it's cleaned out. Make sure you've got batteries there. It's good to have water with you. Prescriptions, cash is always good to have in that safe spot too. So this is from the Storm Prediction Center, pretty much lining up with what we think is going to happen. The question remains, will we see that late Friday evening overnight round of strong to severe storms, or are we just going to see kind of the main event, as we're calling it, developing mid to late morning, continuing through the afternoon and evening? Going back to that theory of multiple rounds. So this would be kind of that main event, earliest arrival time. Try and give you as much heads up as possible, but as early as 8 o'clock for you in Franklin, Colbert, parts of Lawrence County. And then you've got that yellow band there, that swath. Remember, these storms will be tracking from the west-southwest off to the north and northeast. Just kind of a classic March spring severe weather setup. We've got a lot of moisture from the Gulf. We've got a lot of instability, a lot of spin or shear in the atmosphere, and also the upper level winds are favorable for this severe storm development.
And I'm just going to take you through some of the parameters that we look at whenever we're trying to gauge severe storms. CAPE, that's going to be convective available potential energy. That's basically the fuel for these storms. This is what helps the air rise. Brad, our chief meteorologist, does a great job of explaining this with buoyancy. And then we're also going to look at the EHI. That's our Energy Helicity Index, which basically combines not only the energy, but also the spin, the wind shear. And we have a lot of wind shear and also a lot of instability. We need them to basically match up just right, and that's what we're concerned about heading into Saturday. So this is at midnight on Saturday, and you notice the Cape is anywhere from 500 to 900 joules per kilogram. Really, you only need 500, but once you get into the 1,000 range, that's almost not necessarily a guarantee, but that's a good indicator that we're going to have plenty of fuel for these storms.
And if we have that cap in place, basically a lid on the atmosphere, notice how this future radar, the model, is a little hesitant, but still showing indications of we could have some of this activity very early on Saturday morning. And this would be one of the overnight portions of the event, Friday night into Saturday morning. A lot of you will be sleeping, so make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. But anytime you have Cape over 500, like Chelsea mentioned, that is enough to support severe storms. We're talking 1,000 plus joules per kilogram now, kind of favoring areas along and west of I-65. So that would be that hypothetical morning round of storms. That one, we don't know if it's going to happen for sure or not. But as you go later into the morning and the afternoon, like Chelsea's going to show you right now, that's when we kind of get into the main event. This will be definitely the most active part of the morning, afternoon, and evening, and the Cape goes right back up. Now we're pushing 1,500 joules per kilogram of that thunderstorm fuel or the Cape.
And I think it's also important to notice, Eric, that even if we do see some earlier convection, showers and storms ahead of the main event that will be arriving through the mid to late morning hours, the instability shoots back up. It doesn't look like we're going to have any kind of rain-cooled air or stability after any rain that we see, which again is going to be concerning because that just means it's going to be round after round of severe storms, potentially supercells ahead of the main line that will be coming later on in the evening.
Yeah, and if you go back to that, the Outlook graphic, not the SPC, but the one right there, just showing that all forms of severe weather will be possible both with that morning round and into the late morning, afternoon, evening round, and that means damaging straight line wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. The threat for tornadoes, and these wouldn't be brief spin-ups like we've dealt with earlier in this year. This would be potentially stronger long-track tornadoes too, at least somewhere across the southeast. Potential for large hail, anything over 1 inch in diameter, that's about the size of a quarter. That will damage your vehicle, that will damage your siding, potentially could break some windows too. And not to be overlooked with this, the threat for locally heavy rainfall, especially with the duration of this 2 to 4 or more inches of rain. That will lead to concern, obviously, of flash flooding. We could see roadway flooding, creek, streams, and rivers. We'll see some rises. So this is really setting up to be the most active day of severe weather that we've seen dating back to May of last year. And we've had some pretty decent severe weather events in between, but this one kind of giving it that ominous look. It's going to be a busy day. That's why we ask that you start preparing now. Go over that safety plan, check your safe spot. Just charge your phone through the day on Friday if you can, as power outages with that wind threat. The general wind too could cause some power outages. So a lot going on with Saturday's weather for sure.
And I'm just going to take you out hour by hour. This is our graph model, one of our high resolution data models. We've been really waiting to get into this for the past several days because the devil will basically be in the details as we head into Saturday. So midnight through 5 o'clock in the morning. Again, that threat is going to be conditional. If we have a cap in place that's very warm air aloft, that's going to act as a lid on the atmosphere where storms likely will not become severe, or we're not going to have much development at all. However, once we head past 8 o'clock in the morning, just watch the storms blow up. And I mean, literally, they blow up area wide. And this is where we could see some supercellular in nature storms. And look at the temperatures, Eric. It's showing near 80 degrees
and
on
this is
Saturday.
going to be, not only a very warm day. We got the wind direction out of the south that adds to the instability, and we've got that deep tropical moisture, and that's what's fueling these storms here. And just looking at this model run, it just not a great sign for us. Again, not scaring anyone or just showing you exactly what you're looking at on your screen, that this is going to be one of those days that it's going to be a very active day of weather. There's kind of no way around it, so just start planning accordingly. And we will be with you. We'll be fully staffed all night Friday, all through the early morning hours on Saturday. All 4 of your 48 first alert meteorologists will be here. Jeff DeNoyer, Chelsea, of course, Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, too. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That's the latest. We hope you join us for Tennessee Valley Living. Peyton Walker, Chelsea will be giving you the latest update on that. And of course, the new newscast with Gina Benitez, Brad in at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Later today, he will do his weather extra too. I know he'll go a lot more in depth to a lot of the things, the variables that we're looking at. All right, everyone, that's weather extra. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy the day.